Good evening, dear students. I got a little late. I was expecting more members to be coming in. Right, okay. No issue. Now we can start the session. Uh, Hope you have gone through those who are absent. For the previous session has gone through the recordings, and some members were there. For the last session where we have been discussing the contemporary issues in management, right? Those who were there might be able to recall what we have been discussing. These were our contemporary issues in management. So let me to brief actually the content first. Basically, these include the current issues that the managers and the employees are being facing. Simply, these are the things that we needed to be have a look on from the theoretical angle. Of course, the previously developed theories are there. Those are the things that we have been learning so far. right? මේ දක්වා අපි ඉගෙන ගත්තේ කළමනාකරන විශේෂ ශාස්ත්‍ර යටතේ අපිට කළමනාකරණය කරගන්න උදව් වෙන තියරි එහෙම නැත්නම් න්‍යායන් ක්‍රමවේදයන් ඒ වගේ දේවල්. එතකොට නමුත් කාලයත් එක්ක යනකොට මේවායේ වෙනස්කම් සිද්ධ වෙනවා. Like when you move along with the time, the environment change. So based on the changes taking place in environment, we may not be able to assure whether the so-called previously tested and introduced theories are fitting with the current context. And the nature of the problem that these days managers are facing is quite unusual. Say, for example, if you take the COVID-19 pandemic, of course, there were some pandemic and epidemic situation across the globe due to cholera or some other diseases and this bird flu and kind of stuff. But that was not that severe like COVID-19, whereas it shut down the entire world. Even today, even we are suffering from the consequences of it, right? So, like that way, during that time, the managers, the owners of the businesses, the government institutions, everyone, administrators were uh, in a problem. How they going to address it? How they going to adjust it? Right? So, what was the adaptability to adapt? So, what will be the technologies or the strategies to be get used to it, adapt to it, right? So that and even in other natural disasters like tsunami and all, also brought a similar kind of threats. And if you leave these natural disasters, if you move into this technological environment, now of course robots and the AI and the AI generated content and everything are being coming into the marketplace, which can be easily replace the skills of the employees. So those are also threats. And now of course you can see in the political arena, in the local, the national level, and as well in especially the international level, Russian, Ukraine war, and even these Iran, they are having this and the Gaza. There's another problem, and now it is very close for a war between the America and the Iran. Likewise, so there are of course several things have been affecting to the management of the organization, right? So those are the matters that we discuss here, right? With a special focus on the things applied to the word of work, right? අපි වැඩ පරිසරයට මේවායේ තියෙන බලපෑමට වැඩි අවධානයක් දෙමින් අපි මේ contemporary use කියන එක කතා කරනවා. The definition we studied in the last uh, because the contemporary issues in management refers to the current and evolving challenges and trends. So those are the four words that you have to keep in mind with relating to the contemporary issues, current and evolving challenges and trends. So they are coming from the dynamic business environment. Keep that thing in mind. So it involves current, පවතින, which are ongoing, evolving, having some connectivity to past and the future, evolve වෙනවා, විකාශනය වෙනවා. පරණ අතීතයේ තිබුණා වෙනස් වෙමින් තව දුරටත් ඉදිරියට යනවා. Challenges are the things that you need to face with difficulty. Trends are the patterns that you observe, right? So those are that was the definition that we were discussing, and here listed the contemporary issues that we have been identifying, right? It cover a lot, a good variety, and we have been taking one by one and discussing what they are and how they are being affected, right? And we discuss why it is crucial for managers to stay updated relating these things, because they need to adapt to the technological changes and the decision making will be enhanced, right? And the engagement and retention, sustainable growth and corporate responsibility, those are the things that encourage managers to be alert and know them, right? And from that point onward, we have been taking different identified contemporary issues separately, and we have been discussing them in terms of two aspects. What is the impact of management and how they become a challenge for them. And likewise, we have discussed technological advancement, remote and hybrid work model. I think we have been identifying this trend shifting from uh, shifting from the in-house to remote and hybrid. And there are challenges associated with, despite the advantages. Of course, there are in each and every challenge, this contemporary issue, we have some uh, benefits as well, right? But our main focus is towards the challenging aspect, because benefits anyway we all enjoy, but when it's come to the challenge, there should be some special way, some special sources from where we should be getting the help and all, right? So that's why we are going to stage here only the challenging part, right? Then the sustainability and corporate social responsibility is a challenge that everyone need to handle, right? Then ethical management, when it's come to the ethics, there have been uh, uh, there have been several forces that hitting the stand of the ethics. In other ways, there are ethical dilemmas and as well threat for the integrity, and some unethical practices are being changing like that. Impact on management, the globalization, you all know. Now, there's no word at all, but you have just a small village from where you can connect to every end of this big globe. And the innovation management should be a very critical aspect of the development of the organization, and making employees engagement and retention, that's also a challenging thing as long as this digitalization is concerned. And we were discussing this point, the leadership styles and trends. So, in previously, the distinction between the transaction and transformation was there, right? So, the two main leadership styles were the transformational and transaction. Whereas in the transactional, the more concern towards the productivity and as well more administrative emphasis was there in the transactional approach. When it comes to the transformational, it was quite flexible and as well adaptive and having more concentration for the people factor, right? So this transactional and transformational leadership differences has been identified long before. Because the transactional leadership was truly and heavily, the previous one, this one, right? Transaction leadership style has been giving more emphasis on the performance-based rewards, and the supervision was very high, and they like following the structure all the time. Whereas in oppose, transformational leaders always like to inspire employees, right? And having a long-term vision with them, and they want employees to exceeding their targets, right? Rather than just sticking into what is given, right? So inspiration and motivation was the key elements in the transformation leadership, right? So in recent past, we have been noticing there's a trend towards moving the leadership style to the transformational, and again another version known as servant leadership. Now, the visibility or the presence of transactional leadership is quite unusual. We don't see them at all because people continuously uh, objecting or refusing that style. Instead, now we can see almost all the organizations are among these two options. Transformational leadership style can be visible, and the servant leadership is also visible. Since we know what is transformational, let's have a look on the servant leadership. Sorry. So servant leaderships always they are to support their followers and meeting their need first. In the transformational, they remain as the leaders and they motivate and inspire followers to identify creative new solution. So servant leadership is quite different from the transformation. If you wish to have a long-term sustainable and long-term sustaining and as well growing organization, your choice should be transformation. If we want you to be a good boss and to avoid the problems related with these management of employees, then this is quite um, ideal. But we may not know really how it will be growing because If the employees want to create new solution and innovation, then the leaders, servant leaders might will be focusing and support. Assume that under the servant leadership, employees are also just meeting their needs, then keep quiet without going for extraordinary innovative and long-lasting solution. Right? So, as a result, the organization may not be subject to the growth. Instead, it will remain as it is. Right? It will remain as it is without a problem. But the growth cannot be that much. We can't assure that uh, in most of the cases. So this is how the structure will be developed in case of the transformational and the servant leadership, right? So this is traditional leadership, whereas you have the board of directors and the CEO to CEO will be the agent of this board of directors, and beneath him we have executives and more managers, operation level managers, and finally employees at the bottom layer. So the path will be, the decisions will be moved from top to down, whereas the feedback will be moved to the top. In the servant leadership, who is governing or who is at the top is the employees. Then the middle managers or the first level managers, the executives, and the top managers. You can see organizational hierarchy is made upside down in the servant leadership. Whereas the priority will be given to the employees and the leaders are there to support and fulfill the needs of the employees. So we call this the adaptive leadership style. So this adaptive leadership style, both the transformational and servant leadership, is changing the organization need. So it means what you are going to do as an organization and why you are doing some certain things will be justified in terms of the source from where it comes. So, for example, if we are going to go for an automation, අපි හිතමු අපේ company එක අපි automate කරන්න. ගැන fully digitalize කරන්න. Right? එතකොට ඒක board of directors වගේ decision එකක් ඇවිත් employees ලාට ඒක කරන්න encourage කරලා එයාලා motivate කරලා inspire කරනවා අපි transformation leadership එකේ. Servant leadership එකේදී employees themselves should be proposing it and the manager are supporting to achieve it. They will get it done for the employees. Assume that the employees are not that bothering about it, then it may not be coming to this stage, right? So, like that way, there are differences, but in the servant leadership, if the priority will be given to the employees and these employees know that their demands are being always welcomed by the top management, they will develop high level of loyalty towards the organization, resulting in the organization's citizenship behavior. As a result, they will be able to implement it and growth of the organization can be witnessed. But unlike in the transformational leadership, we can't guarantee that it will be happen as the managers wish, because What is being given priority in the servant leadership is what is expected by employees to get done rather than what is rather than driven by the manager's choices, right? So these two leadership styles are being trending, and the transformation leadership on top of the transactional leadership has been introduced or been practiced for longer time, whereas servant leadership is of course now emerging, right? So that is one of the contemporary issue that we have to pay our attention. So as organizations, we should be thinking about it. And we need to have our own strategy, whether we go with the servant leadership or we will be sticking into this traditional leadership model. Or else you can find your own unique model too. There's no right. Okay, now what is there is the next contemporary issue, that is digital transformation. Anyone who wants to share your views regarding the digitalization or digital transformation with me and with other friends? Yes, yes, everyone? No, right, okay. Let me just brief. Digital transformation simply means we are being moving into digital format in terms of several things. For example, earlier the electronic signals were analog, right? Later it became digital because of the technological advancement, right? So these 1010 kind of uh, signals were given so that the digitalization arises. With that, we can make available everything digital by fixing a small element, right? So you know the car automobiles are there, so we can drive along, park in the right place, right? So, and pick up the right person and moving back to the location because there are such innovations, right? So these innovations are possible when only there's uh, when only there are enough when only there are enough applications relating to the digital technologies. So integrating digital technology into all areas of business can be called as digital transformation. Why we call a transformation here? Hmm? Any idea? ඇයි මෙතන අපි transformation එක කියන්නේ? Yes, no idea. What do you mean by transformation? Transformation is a change from one position to another, like evolution of the mankind. Transforming is we are moving from to one level to another level, in especially one era to another era with significant change. We move from analog to digital. We move from 4G to 5G, like that. So when it comes to the digital transformation, it emphasizes establishing or integrating the digital technologies in all areas of business. For example, we have earlier manual system. Now we have automated system. Let's take a very simple this ATM. Earlier, we happened to go to the bank and give the passbook and sheet and all to withdraw the money. Now, of course, you have a digital card which can be inserted to make the transaction. And even without a card, cardless transaction is also possible with the login credentials such as PIN, username, and all other things. Right? So, like that way, the technologies are being getting advanced day by day. And the technology that we are being using is being getting obsolete very quickly. නේ? මේවා වේගයෙන් වෙනස් වෙමින් යනවා. ඒවා යාල් පානගෙන යනවා. Right? So if you take the TV, no one is now looking at a CT with CRT monitor, right? Maybe you all not even heard about this type of monitor. CRT monitors are monitor known as cathode ray tube monitors. In our childhood, we had that kind of stuff, and you may find that kind of things now in the museum, I guess, right? This way, this is the uh, way that the TV is there, right? This my drawing is not that. Right? There's a very big part in the back side of the TV, right? This is the monitor, and like a gramophone horn, like you will see this. This is a cathode ray, right? And now, of course, you have a very small and very thin and light, and even very big displays, right? Displays very big enough to cover an entire wall of you have leads. They are not dull at all. They can weave things, and you can they can select things like act as computing. All the computing facilities are there with the TVs now, right? Not only TVs, and come to the automobile and all other objects that we are being consuming. You see that there are greater revolution taking place with respect to the digital technologies that they are being using. මේ digital technologies use කරන්න ඒවා ඒවයින් ගොඩක් ලොකු ඇඩ්වාන්ටේජ් එකක් cost එක ඉතුරු කරගන්න පුළුවන් ඊළඟට time එක ස්පීඩ් අප් කරගන්න පුළුවන්, error minimize එහෙම නැත්නම් නැති කරගන්න පුළුවන්, right? Reliability can be increased. Like that way, there are certain aspect that we can um, gain from these digital technologies. When it comes to the digital transformation, they are not happening overnight. This I say transformation is a gradual change that is being happening. So in the digital transformation, there are several eras. In order to call a transformation, there should be the process of devising new business application that integrate all the digitalized data and digitalized application. So if an organization is having almost all of their business application and processes, and they have been integrating all the digital data in terms of the digitalized data, we can call a digital transformation has been happening. එන සියලුම ව්‍යාපාරික කටයුතු අපි ඩිජිටලයිස් කරලා අපේ සියලුම දත්ත අඩංගු වෙන්නේ ඩිජිටල් ආකාරයෙන් අපේ සියලුම වහන්න බෙදා හැරීම් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, මාකටිං වෙන්න පුළුවන්, නිෂ්පාදනය ඒ හැම එකක්ම ඩිජිටල් කරන ආයතන අපි කියනවා ඩිජිටල් ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆෝමේෂන් එකක් සිද්ධ. So that has to be at the highest level, digital transformation. And we have been calling it as a paradigm shift as well. Right? So below that, so that is the highest level that one can achieve, digital transformation. And there are much more countries who are being who have been adapting these digital technologies. Right? So assume that not every, so there are many students who are going to the school and sitting the exam, but only very few students will be remain. Right? So when that level, even though they are not doing almost everything, there are some certain aspects that that is delivering the purposes of this digital transformation. The next level, which is below the digital transformation, is the act of making processes more automated through the use of digital solution. Digitalization is the next level. Here, actually, not all the processes. Instead, the processes or majority of processes are more automated. It means there are some unofficial tools. Right? So digitalization is much less than. Right. Next one is digitalization. Sorry, what we have been discussing is digitization. Now is the digitalization. Digitalization is the process of making information available and accessible in digital form. So this is a very minimal level as far as the digitalization is concerned, as far as the digital transformation is concerned. දැන් මෙතන digitizations වල කරන්නේ information available කිරීමයි access එක ලබා දීමයි විතරයි digital format එක. Honestly speaking, almost all the private sector organizations of course, there are some are at this level, digitization. The webs are being developed only for getting access and as well to deliver the information about the institution, right? So giving information is the only part. Right. Internet communication technologies is the lowest level, whereas it involves the process of collecting information using simply the digitalized tools such as van reader, barcode reader, right? So these sensors which are being capturing as it is. Right. Okay, now in this level, we can identify internet communication technologies are being used in processing and collecting data. Other than that, no new application or process is being used in order to uh, merge the digital technology and the business processes. Right? So, if you can move from here to here and here to here and finally here to here, the advantages will keep increasing. But from the point of managers, these are quite critical stages where you have to balance all the areas, all the parties with respect to digital transformation, right? So challenge, so like is developing effective crisis management plan and putting everything together is also a concern under this digital transformation, right? Talent management is the next contemporary issue that we are going to discuss. Anyone who is having any idea or who want to add some here? Yes? Any idea? Anything you want to share? And not at all. No, right. Okay. Let us discuss the talent management. So, what is a talent? At first, you have to know what is a talent. Talent simply is an extraordinary ability. Hmm? Right. So, it is something much more uh, weight, right, than a skill. So, in a talent management, what we are looking is we are going to identify people with special talents. It can be brought from nature or from birth, or else it can be later developed with the education or training. So in the organization, there's a special attention in finding out people with the extraordinary talents and to retain them for the benefits of the organization. So that entire management process is known as talent management. The strategies coming under the talent management is they try to attract, that means getting the talented people from other organization or the external sources from the environment. And developing means giving training and the career development and all in order to improve them. And retaining talent involve keeping them with us so that they will continuously work for us, right? They will be working for us for a long period, contributing to the development of the organization if you can retain them. But it is said that the retention of talent is quite difficult. Why is that? Yes, why the retaining of talent is difficult. Actually, if they are that talented, that means if they are performing very well, all other organizations, especially the competitors, might also looking at attracting them. For example, let's take that there's a very talented engineer in one engineering company, and with him, the company was able to complete very significant and as well successful projects, several of such projects. And with that, the attention towards the other companies, the especially the computers, will be paying attention onto the performance made by these talented engineers. And since they are also having talent management, they will be trying to attracting this person by giving good offer, good employment condition. So, right? Resultantly, if that person feels the new offer is worth enough for him, then he or she will be moving into the new organization, right? Then ultimately, the organization who is being attracting, developing that employee previously will lose the advantage of getting the productivity or the contribution by this person, right? Then it will be a cost for this organization, right? So there are certain aspects that we have to look in under this talent management. The old reality and a new reality. Earlier, people need companies. That means getting a job is quite difficult. Actually, when it's come to the third world countries like ours, still we are struggling with this unemployment because population is greater, whereas the number of companies or the establishment for where they can work is limited. So, but the new reality that this is going to be change, and the change has been already started to. Whereas people are good at several things. They can do many things. The education opportunities has been developed, and now the people may not be wishing to stay with one organization. Instead, companies are now seeking the people because they want talented best employees to run their company. So companies are in a need to get the people in. Earlier, people were struggling to getting into the companies. And again, machines, capital, geography were the things much valuable for the organization to get a competitive advantage, right? In good old days, we were used to say if a company has a lot of money, they can be the market leader. If they are situated near to the raw material source, such as we learn in our economics, Bogala, Patala, right? So like that, if some companies are being located nearly to the airport or kind of capital city and all, right? So those areas, those were considered as sources of competitive advantage. But if you consider this new reality, the people factor will only serving a competitive advantage. Company with whom you have uh, the company with whom it has the best people can gain the competitive advantage because nothing other than that may be technology, capital, and the geographical factors and all. So leaving everything behind, now we can understand the people with highest talents, with the super order, extraordinary abilities, will able to contribute to the organization to be the market leader. So that's what we call getting a competitive advantage. So better talent makes some difference in all the day. Now the better talent make a huge difference. So if we compare the performance of two different organizations with talents and without talent, earlier the difference was not that significant. වෙනස ඒ තරම්ම ප්‍රබල නැහැ. ටැලන්ටඩ් අය හිටියයි කියලායි ටැලන්ටඩ් නැති අය හිටියයි කියලා ලොකු වෙනසක් නැහැ. නමුත් අද ගත්තාම ටැලන්ටඩ් අය ඉන්න තැන පර්ෆෝමන්ස් එක ටැලන්ට් එකක් නැති කෙනෙක් ඉන්න පර්ෆෝමන්ස් එකත් එක්ක ලොකු ගැප් එකක් තියෙනවා. So this gap is been creating a skill gap, right? Resultantly, the performance will be downgraded with respect to the organization who are having poor talents. As a result, their competitive advantage will be lost and even bankruptcy will be possible. Jobs are scarce in early days. Now the talented people are scarce. There are many, but no one is talented. Neither. ගොඩාක් අය ඉන්නවා මේ වැඩ කරන්න මිනිස්සු ඉන්න. නමුත් වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් ජොබ්ස් තියෙනවා ජොබ්ස් තමයි අඩු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ඉස්සර කාලේ. මිනිස්සු ඒ තියෙන අඩු ජොබ්ස් වලට ගොඩාක් ෆයිට් කරනවා. ලොකු කම්පිටිෂන් එකක්. නමුත් අද වෙනකොට ගත්තම කම්පැනි එකට අවශ්‍ය වෙන talented අය හොයාගන්න හරිම only very few are there. So then it is very hard to find real talents. The old reality is employees are loyal and jobs are safe. Right? In good old days, no one is thinking of moving out from the job if it is giving them the basic job requirement. ගොඩක් අය ජොබ්ස් මාරු කරන්නේ නැහැ. එකම ජොබ් එකේ ජීවිත කාලෙම වගේ ඉන්නවා. අපි කියනවට ලයිෆ් ටයිම් එම්ප්ලොයිමන්ට් කියලා. ඒ වගේම මේ ජොබ්ස් කරන තැනට ඒගොල්ලෝ විශේෂ ලැබියාවක් දක්වනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම රැඳී සිටින්න කැමති. Now, since the people are much more talented, we don't need to wait in an organization for longer period. So they are good at handling several things, right? As a result, they can join any organization at any time. Resultantly, many talented people are not staying in a one organization for a longer time period, right? So that is from an organization point of view, this is quite challenging because they need to retain these people because they are the one who will give you the business, who run your business and who give you the competitive advantage. But if you leave them to leave, if you are not caring them enough, if you are not trying to keep them within you, since they are talented, they will find a lot of offers. ඒගොල්ලෝ talented ඉන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඕන තරම් offers හම්බෙනවා. ඉස්සර වගේ jobs අඩු නෑ යාළුවට. talented අය. jobs අඩුයි මොනවද දන්නේ නැති අය. right? එතකොට මේ තියෙන talented කට්ටිය ඒක නිසා mobile. People are mobile and their commitment is shorter, right? They are not going to work for a single organization for a longer time period. Right? So people accept the standard package by the offer. In all the time period, during the older reality, people were satisfied what they are being given. They are not that much negotiating. Salary එක වුණා දුන්න එක බාර ගන්නවා condition the same. They are not asking for more, right? They are not, going that much into making demand for them. Instead, now you can see people demand much more things. They want a competitive salary and there are a lot of conditions and they look for these stuff when you are first going to accept a job appointment. So this is the old and new reality. Now think and tell me who are now in trouble. Is it the employees or the companies or the employers? කවුද දැන් ඇත්තටම challenge එකට මුහුණ දෙන්නේ? කම්පැනි එකද සේවකයෝද? නැත්නම් පුද්ගලයෝද ආයතන? Yes? Yes, any idea? You can easily understand now the companies are struggling and they are in the hot order and the challenge is for them. Right? Right? I think you are getting it, right? So addressing this skill gap, right? So there's a big difference between who are talented and who are not talented. Talent තියෙන අය නැති අය අතර ලොකු වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. මේ skill gap එක address කරන එක future workforce needs fulfill කරන එක ආයතන පැත්තෙන් challenge එක. So they are in a continuous struggle in finding, attracting, developing, and retaining talents. So, apart from this human resource management and human resource development, the talent management should be one of the key managerial area that you need to pay your attention the most. Otherwise, you will end up with a group of people who are not knowing anything and who can't perform anything. As a result, who won't never leave you because they are no longer demanded by anyone else. කවුරුත් ඒගොල්ලෝ ගන්න කැමතිත් නෑ ගන්න කෙනෙක් නැති නිසා සහ යන්න ජොයින් වෙන්න තැනක් නැති නිසා යන්නෙත් නෑ ඒගොල්ලන්ට හොඳටම වැඩ කරන්න කම්ම එන්වයරන්මන්ට් එකේ තියෙන අනිත් ඒවාත් එක්ක ටැලි වෙලා වැඩ කරන්න හැකියාවකුත් නැති කිසිම ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ පැත්තෙන් පොසිටිවිටි එකක් නැති ආයතන පැත්තෙන් පොසිටිවිටි එක අඩු අය ටිකක් තමයි අවසානයේ ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ. So with them you can't go ahead, right? You can't keep up. So that is a challenge. Addressing the skill gap and deciding future workforce need is also a challenge that the companies are facing. Right. Let's see what is the organizational culture. Actually, organizational culture is a kind of concept we have been learning and referring long period of time, and it is there in the management to right management environment, right? This organization culture is being evolved. There's no end for it. As long as the organization is there, it is evolving. Who is getting together to set to the office and at what time you usually arrive and what you are going to wear and how you are going to talk and what you are going to believe in offering from you. And likewise, so there are some certain aspects we have to think, right? So in some cases, your personal belief and ideas may totally differ from what is being practiced in the organization, right? So, uh, organization culture will become stronger and stronger as it moves on with several experiences. In order to develop a culture within the organization, we expect them to have more and more interaction, more and more gatherings, right? Interactions are very essential in identifying the people. And then interactions are quite interesting, right? And this organizational culture going to be embedded within all the members in the organization, right? So many are not leaving an organization for a higher salary because of the culture sometimes, right? So building a positive organization culture is the definition or the objective. And the qualities of great organization cultures. One thing is the alignment to company objective. So whatever the culture is promoting should be very clearly linked with the organizational objective, because no one can allow uh, no one can allow uh, having different treatment from different shops, right? So there might be some little difference, but sometimes there's a huge difference between these. Right. Aligned to competitive objectives should be the most prominent one. So if it is there, it's a good culture. A culture of appreciation. This is something we rarely see in this society, right? Appreciations. The culture of trust. We have to trust each and everyone, right? So culture of trust means we have trust one member and then likewise. Because right, and the third, fourth one, performance focus, resilience, encompass teamwork, integrity, psychological safety are the other areas that they need to develop their Right. Right. Next one is integrity and the transparency should be there and the psychological safety. So the challenge is building a positive organizational culture, right? So we need to make it uh, formal and as well willing, right? So building a positive organizational culture will be very helpful for many, right? So culture is the most prominent one among these factors. Because why I'm telling so is that Right. So that is organizational culture part, that is supporting people to be unique. Right. So now we know the organizational culture is quite powerful and it is affecting the life of the people significantly. Next, next is the financial management in certain time. What do you mean by certain time? Right. Right, right. So now after the organizational culture, we can now identify there's a greater threat or a challenge that arising from the digitalization of business. Right. So these upcoming specialists, Right. Then we are moving into one of the another problem faced by the managers today. Another contemporary issue. Right. So this right. So coming into the financial strategies, right? So right. So coming under the financial, right. So with respect to the other members, mhm, right. Okay. Cost-centric management. What does it mean? What, what country? Right. So customer-centric management, right. So important staying compliant with laws and regulation is known as ROI. Right. So staying compliant with laws and regulation has been falling into O, or simply yes category. Next, the challenges they have been identifying is keeping up with the changing regulatory landscape. And within that, you have politics, like I mentioned, the medicine, and as well the deregulation people. So it's very essential to always maintain the compliance, whether the laws and regulations are being practiced by the organization or remain the same. Right. So regulatory compliance is another challenging area. Right. So keeping up with the changing regulatory landscapes is the challenge, the main challenge that the organizations are facing. Then comes the agile management practices. What do you mean by agile? Yes? මොනවගේ වෙලාවකද අපි agile කියන්නේ? So this term is often used with the others. So agile simply has been identifying able to move quickly and easily. So project management often use this term, especially when software is being developed. Right. So under the agile methodology, first we need to evaluation processes and current structure of the company. Those are the things need to be looked. Right. The second comes optimizing a process with the right combination of technology. Leaving behind the manual digital, no. Right. The third step going to be the application design together with the trial. Fourth will be weekly delivery of development for the end user to operate and interest for change. Then this one, right? The fourth one, application, construction and implementation. Let's come to the fifth, right? Okay, for fifth one is evaluation and monitoring. So this process actually needs not these members, but a person with strong connectivity to whom, right? So when you see that the people or the previous students have been following a certain pattern and alongside comment or whatever the things you selected, that will be living secretly and improving their talents. Now, of course, um, right. So since they are falling into this international quality, we don't have a say because it's being directed from top to bottom under this style. Right. Next is applying these new technologies in order to be agile and to experience the transition from traditional to agile. Like very similar to moving from previous version to upcoming things. Right? So this is quite challenging, but if you are able to do it, that will be the real challenge, right? And next comes the work-life balance. Work-life balance is the most discussed and as well leastly practiced human resource management content, right? So the work-life balance need to be given much attention because you can go with the boosted productivity, reduce burnout. Yes, what do you mean by burnout? Burnout is a situation where you go through the high level of risk. Right. The work-life balance benefits include boosted productivity, reduced burnout, increased wellness, and higher employee retention. So retention, retain or stay within the organization despite several challenges. So if you can maintain the work-life balance, then you will be able to retain it. The other things include wellness because you are not working too late. You are not giving uh, physical things and as well the family stuff. If you don't balance these components, if you have a balanced component, so no one, even the talented, will be staying here. Right? It's a little right. So addressing burnout and stress. Burnout is the level in which they feel like destroying them despite the others. Right. So challenge is addressing burnout and stress despite the productivity target and promoting the healthy work and life balance going to be a must and as well the gratitude. right way of making paying our gratuity. Next one is managing virtual teams. So managing virtual teams becomes very crucial because now, of course, we have in an organization where the entire staff has gone, right? So effective management of virtual teams can be made possible because otherwise it's challenging. Right. So when it's come to the managing virtual teams, we have to use the communication tools to maintain connectivity, right? So they don't need to stay in the workplace. Right. So set work standards to improve productivity and prevent distraction with reliable productivity tools and use project management tool to track work progress and setting guidelines to improve the virtual team efficiency, right? Those are among the topic, right? So areas that others are wishing to look in. And when it's come to the communication, we can understand that communication and collaboration in the virtual environment is getting a challenge. Yes, so they have been now working physically for Right. So during the hardest period and all, right. So now, of course, the challenge is to maintain and retaining the talented people. Right. Right. So these virtual teams are not meeting them each other. Right. So the challenge is effective management of websites. Right. And in a similar pattern, similar way, we will be managing the virtual teams by mixing both off and online activities. Then comes this knowledge management, because knowledge is a concept that is connected with the people. If the people are leaving the organization, we lost the knowledge that he or she has been gained through this. On the other hand, even though we will be controlling it from outside, it's very hard to practice. So capturing and sharing, organizing knowledge is the ultimate aim of the knowledge management. And if we can have the management, right, that will be that much useful. Right. So when you have this knowledge management within the organization, you have to be very alert. And you should not be letting a single piece of knowledge or information getting into the system because we can't guarantee when and where we might be want to use them, right? So that is knowledge management. And the performance management is also same because the benefit is ultimately gone to the employees, whereas in the right. So performance management is setting some performance target at the beginning and communicating it and evaluating it to improve the employee performance. So it will run in a cycle such as planning, monitoring, reviewing, and rewarding, right? What we call the performance management cycle. So what's the challenge is developing fair and effective performance management system because people are with different talents and different applications, experiences, and so we may not be able to place him whatever the best place available, right? So there is another concern that we as contemporary managers need to be think of. Right. So of course, we have been reaching to our ending time. There are few more approaches to be discussed even, but I like to keep that thing for the next day because in here, of course, we need to discuss many things to understand the real challenge and as well the threat. So I'm going to wind up here and we'll be discussing the next by next week, right? Okay, thank you for your attention and good night.